Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the bonus footage for the XPR-50, which will be the penultimate bonus footage of Black Ops 2 at least. For those worried about, getting their bonus fix after I've done the AN-94, which will be the last Black Ops 2 bonus footage, don't worry, I am going to reboot the whole bonus thing, and I would like to do it on a more regular basis. I think definitely locking it into a weekly schedule would be the way forward. So the rebooted bonus will probably come with the Call of Duty Ghosts weapon guides. Now, the thing is, those weapon guides aren't going to be on a weekly schedule. I'm going to do those a little bit quicker. So there might be multiple weapons in any given bonus footage, but it's fine. I think, honestly, the actual footage in the bonus footage, not that important. So once I get going, I'm just going to lock into the weekly format, and I'll put together whatever footage I've got, and that should do the job just fine. Of course, the questions and all that, they'll be of the same format. I'm not sure exactly where I'll take them from, possibly the week's videos, or, the last bonus footage video. Maybe even both. But speaking of the questions, let's get on with them. Draven R asks, finished GTA 5 yet? Yes, I finished the single player quite quickly. I did it within the 2 weeks before GTA Online launching, but as it turns out I needn't have bothered because it was horribly broken. It's fixed now, but I don't know. The online's okay. It's fun to have a small bit of a blast, but it feels like a bit of a grind, so I can't see myself sinking days and days into it. Single player was good, though. Bradley Wellsbury asks, now that you finished the weapon guides, do you still play Black Ops 2? Not so much these days. I'm taking kind of a break from it. I found once that I got all of the diamond weapons, the metagame kind of evaporated. I didn't really have anything to strive for, and I felt as though my time was complete with the game. I've spent plenty of time playing the game, and I think it had a good run, but maybe one day I'll go back to it. But of course, with Call of Duty, there's a new one every year. What I have been playing quite a lot is the Battlefield 4 beta. I've actually been quite enjoying that. I do rather enjoy domination. I mean, it's absolute chaos, there's no strategy, and you die off spawn all the time, and it's completely unfair. But, hey, I kind of like that. It reminds me of COD. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. COD's popular for a reason, and the instant action, fast-paced gunplay, it's all good. And having played the Battlefield 4 beta, I am now reasonably confident to say that I might very well consider doing a weapon guide for Battlefield 4. If it happens, it'll be after the Call of Duty Ghosts ones, possibly early 2014. So I'll slot it in between Ghosts and possibly Titanfall, maybe Destiny, depending which comes first. Although I have a strong suspicion Destiny will be pushed back till Christmas. Anyway, I shouldn't talk about too far in the future, because there are factors that might change what I do, but this is kind of where I'm at now. Next Gen Gaming asks, hey Stu, when Ghosts come out, will you be doing weapon guides like Black Ops 2? Or are you going to do 3 episodes like category, like Assault, Support and Specialist, each episode focusing on one different gun per category each time? I'm going to stick to the one weapon, one video format. It makes the most sense to do it that way. Not only is it my established format, but it's also the best way of enhancing your search engine surface area. And I'd wager it's probably the best strategy from a money-making perspective as well. And, of course, finances are a factor. I mean, this is my job, and I do have to think about stuff like that. I wish I didn't, but unfortunately that's the way things are. JD92 asks, Stu, if you don't want to do full Let's Plays, why not try a one video per game approach? You could start by talking about the basic gameplay, but it also gives you a platform to share your thoughts on the game, like a light-hearted review. The beauty of this approach is that you can get lots of games under your belt, and it gives you an excuse to buy more games. You don't necessarily have to do new games either. You could spotlight some old favourites or indulge in several indie titles. Long comment, but it raises some points and some stuff that I've been thinking about myself. When I've been doing these ambitious multi-game videos, I've been recording maybe up to half an hour of gameplay, and I'm thinking I could do other stuff with this. I could maybe, talk about the games individually, and again, it goes back to surface area. It gives you more search engine area. One video that astounded me at how well it did is the Test Drive Unlimited 2 video. It was a 6-part Let's Play that I did a while ago. But because Test Drive Unlimited 2 isn't a game that's particularly well covered by YouTube, it's not particularly popular. People aren't churning out videos for it. It's a fringe title, slightly obscure. Because of that, I get a lot of search engine traffic for the game. In fact, that video alone turns over more views than a typical weapon guide does. So the potential long tail for videos like that is very, very good. I've just got to find a format, really, to do them in, and I don't know. I don't want something that's too ornate, too difficult to put together, but I don't want to do something that's too laissez-faire. I don't like doing live stuff, because it turns the act of actually playing the game into work itself, and I don't like that. So what I'm thinking is little scripted videos, little perfectly formed essays about a video game. Essay sounds boring, but really the concept I have is just a well-composed 5-minute summary of my thoughts on any given game. It's kind of like a review, but I'm not going to make any effort to be topical, or I just want to talk about games that I've been playing. I think it'll be a good habit to get into the practice of writing little pieces like that regularly as well, because I wouldn't mind, at least as a sideline, getting into the journalism gig a little bit. It's a tough market to break into, you've got a lot of competition, but I don't know. So the long and the short of it is you might see some odds and ends turn up on this channel. I'd like to maybe focus on games that are important to me personally. One of the games I'd quite like to talk about is Blur. I love the XCOM series as well, so I might talk about the XCOM reboot at some point. And the best thing is, it gives me an excuse to play games that I might want to play as well. Anyway, I do go on. I should stop talking about future video plans and just get out there and do them. Ultimately, that's the only way you're going to know if it works or not. Blackhawk295 says, "So Stu, are you going to participate in the Battlefield 4 beta?" Well, yes I am. Yes, of course, I've talked about it already. It ended today, of course, so if you wanted to play the Battlefield 4 beta, you have lost your chance now. So yes, I played it. I gave it a fair old shake. I didn't sink days into it. I think I got up to around rank 6. And if you're lucky, I might tack on a game at the end of this video, because I did record some the other day. Siggy Motion asks, "Stu, have you ever tried Icelandic beer? And can you pronounce Eyjafjalla Jökull?" I've only had one Icelandic beer before, one called Einstök. But I've had two by Einstök, in fact. They're pretty good, I like them, they're a craft brewer. Their toasted porter actually was pretty delicious. I've tried their white ale as well, which is okay. It's not up to the Belgian standard, but still pretty good. As for that word, it was an Eyjafjalla Jökull. I don't know. Spitfire-117 asks, "Stu, will you continue to post a bonus video type of video when you run out of footage?" Well, I did go over this at the start of the video, but yes, to clarify, yes, there will always be bonus videos, because I know how much you guys like them. And if I ever do run out of footage, then there's always the black screen. I could always go out and film my cats, or I could just go and play some games and record some stuff, who knows? Brony Rocket 96 asks, "Stu, would you ever do a full episode of Top Sprocket? Seeing as the short version proved quite popular, at least in my eyes." Oh yes, I wasn't expecting to do Top Sprocket. It kind of came out of nowhere. I thought, wouldn't it be funny if... And then, well, like I say, I wasted a day on it. I think at that point I was supposed to be working on the Lager video, but there was such a huge amount of work to do for that. Well, I decided to take a bit of a break and do a fun video instead. So that's how it came about. It was very spontaneous. As far as the possibility for a full episode, the machinima making tools in Grand Theft Auto aren't spectacular. I mean, cinematic camera it does its own thing, and it's not easy to control yourself. There's no replays or anything like that. And, well, good luck making a character that looks like Jeremy Clarkson in the, in the character creator. You'd have more luck emulating a potato. So, Top Sprocket might just stay as a small, perfectly formed joke video. Although you never know, I might very well resurrect the concept for Forza 5. Seeing as, the Top Gear tie-ins there, and there's the challenges and all that sort of stuff, so you never know. Carman, could you try and do the EA Sports It's in the Game? Well, I could try and emulate it, I suppose. It's a tough one to do. It's, EA Sports. It's in the game. That was a bit fast. It's, EA Sports. It's in the game. That's probably about as close as I'll get. There you go. Sounds bad to my ear, but then I don't have the American accent for it. XM Barrett asks, "Speaking of gore, what do you think of Mortal Kombat? Who's your favourite character from the series? Cabal all the way for me." Oh yes, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's always a troublesome game, because it's kind of on the fringe of significance, so it's reasonably significant, but I probably wouldn't have included it in my... Well, I didn't include it in my brief history of video games. But it is very fondly remembered, and of course there are still fans to this day, so I always get Mortal Kombat fans saying, "Stu, where's Mortal Kombat? You forgot it." I didn't forget it, it's just on the cusp. But I do like the series. In fact, I do own the latest installment of the Mortal Kombat game, and that will make a feature, obviously, in my gore video. And I did own the original back in the day. I had it on my Commodore Amiga. I still remember the cheats. Dullard something. Yeah, it's good. I mean, obviously, I was like a teenager when it came out, so all of the blood and guts and the fatalities, they appeal to me. It's like, oh yeah, you can rip out his spine! But I mean, if we have to be honest, I mean, Street Fighter 2 was the superior fighter. It had tighter controls, and it was, well, you know, it was a better fighting game. But, you know, the controversy and the cool factor carried Mortal Kombat through, and, you know, it's a special game. It's a special game. I do remember it fondly. As far as my favourite character, I would have to say definitely Scorpion. You know, get over here! What was that? Back punch. And the fatality, I think it was down kick or something. Oh, I can't remember. The controls are funny on the Amiga because there was only one button. Ice and Grim Roven asks, Stu, are you going to do some medieval/fantasy world games related content, or are you going to stick with more modern, less fantasy related stuff? Also, have you played it? What's your opinion about the Witcher games? Well, I wouldn't rule anything out with regards to medieval stuff, but I couldn't tell you precisely, you know, what game that would be. You know, I briefly flirted with the idea for an April Fool's Day video of doing a game like Chivalry or maybe even Skyrim, but writing the script in Middle English and doing an entire weapon guide in Chaucer-esque verse. That might be a bit of a stretch, it might be a bit obscure, people probably wouldn't get it, but it would be a fun exercise to do, I feel. I will say I am a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls series, so if the Elder Scrolls 6 turns around in the next couple of years, then I might very well do some content for it, but again, it's far too far in the future for me to promise anything. For all I know, I might be destitute by then, or I might even have to get a real job. Oh no. As far as the Witcher games are concerned, I love CD Projekt Red. They're so positive. They really are a champion for, you know, PC gamers, but they're Polish. I mean, the Polish have a much, much bigger PC gaming scene. It does feel like they pander a little bit to the PC market, but then, you know, I say that, they do some fantastic stuff, like, I mean, updates are free, you know, significant updates with The Witcher 2. And the total absence of DRM is always a good thing. I mean, DRM isn't inherently bad, it does serve a function. Steam is DRM, and I kind of like Steam. So I love everything that CD Projekt Red do, and I'm quite excited for Cyberpunk 2033. That looks very good. I mean, the trailer, it's a rendered trailer, but it looks really good. As far as The Witcher 2, I have it, I've played it, and I've done the intro a couple of times now, in fact, but it's never really sucked me in the way a game like Skyrim does. And I know Skyrim's not the deepest of games, but I love the exploration in Skyrim. The same with Fallout 3 as well. I just love wandering around, and, well, The Witcher 2 feels like it's less focused on that. I don't know, I need to give it another try. I've also got Dragon Age Origins to play, and I know I like that, so not enough time, too many games, usual case. Kevin Nuama says, Stu, would you say GTA 5 was the best game this generation, since it made 800 million first day and broke many records? Well, sales don't necessarily make a good game. I'm sure many opponents of the Call of Duty series would attest to that. But I do rate Grand Theft Auto 5 as a good game. It is an enjoyable title. I love the single player. I think the end game on the single player is a little bit lacking. It's really just, you know, it's an open world and a lot of grinding to do. And I think the online is disappointing as well. Connectivity issues aside, the game itself, I don't know, it's okay, but you need to have the patience of a saint to play it. A lot of the game modes aren't particularly good fun. I mean, deathmatch isn't fun at all, especially when a higher level player joins your game and they know the maps and they've got a sniper rifle and all you've got is a pistol. And having to pay out money when you die, I mean, that's anti-fun, and it's clearly designed to sort of push the microtransactions, I guess. I'm sure Rockstar, you know, they've got plans for the game. They're going to add the co-op heists in. No doubt there'll be some tuning and some changes which will limit any annoyances. And, you know, the game might turn out to be a pretty solid online title. But for my money, Grand Theft Auto, it's still a single-player game in my eyes, really. You might notice we've got Battlefield 4 in the background now. This was a reasonably good game. I'm not going to uphold it as, you know, quality gameplay, but I was pretty happy with the score at the end. It's a pretty fast-paced game of domination, and I do make judicious use of these squad order commands because I am the squad commander, and I do get a load of bonus points for it, which is always good. So I'll let this run through, and I shall answer the remainder of the questions, because I've normally got a few left over, but this time, you're going to get answered. Pareshkoa says, Stu, what are your plans for the future in terms of work or personal? Are you going to carry on gaming till you're old, or are you going to take a different path after you're bored? Well, I can't see myself giving up on gaming anytime soon. I mean, I'm just holding out for virtual reality. That's the only reason I'm still hanging on there. So if we could have all that mastered by the time I'm of retirement age, that'd be brilliant. I tell you, that Oculus Rift, that looks like it's a step in the right direction. Although I'd quite like to get, actually direct brain implants so you can get all the tactile feedback in there, so it's actually like you're actually there. Anyway, I think I'm pushing the boundaries of the remit of that question, so I'll move on to the other aspects. As far as YouTube's concerned, I don't know. I mean, you've got to be pragmatic in these sort of things. It depends on how good the money is, and if it turns out that I'd make significantly more money doing a regular job, then, well, you've got to think maybe that's what I should be doing. I could always do the gaming stuff as a hobby, in the spare time. As while it is great to be able to, have some sort of living doing what you love, if that living is the equivalent of, a minimum wage job, then maybe it's not the best place to be. So yeah, as for the future of YouTube and me, it depends on how successful I am as to the transition to the next gen. One of my goals is to get more involved with the industry as a whole, maybe sort of look into the journalism angle, maybe, again, find some more work like I did with Activision on Elite, rather than just relying on advertising revenue from YouTube, which is erratic, unreliable, and not the healthiest way to make a living. You end up tearing your hair out over some stuff. So that's what I'm really after. It's like a balance, do the YouTube stuff on a regular basis, but still, in the gaps, maybe do a bit of work on the side, whether it's voiceover, writing, or whatever. I don't know, but that's what I'd like to do. It's tough, though. It's tough. It really is a competitive industry, is YouTube. There's a lot of people doing it. Worse than that, though, it's the fact that YouTube really doesn't favour people like me who spend a week or two working on a single video. It's all about the daily uploads. If you want to make serious money on YouTube, that's the way to do it. Spending a week on a video, it's absolute insanity. I mean, especially if you could turn out 7 videos in the same time span. You might end up getting fewer views per video, but it's a huge gamble to wager on getting 7 times the views on a high-effort video. And that's how YouTube is. That's the ecosystem. And money, it's important to me because I need it to live, but it's not my primary motivation. You know me, I do take a certain amount of pride in my work, and the views aren't that important to me. But on a pragmatic sense, I do have to turn over a certain amount of views to survive. But with a spot of luck, the Ghosts guys, they should be pretty good. I mean, the fact that I'll be doing more than 1 a week. I mean, if I do 2 a week, that's pretty much double my income. If I do 3 a week, triple. If I do 4 a week, quadruple. It's just a question of, what economies can I make to actually turn them out quickly enough. So, I'll be cutting out some of the chaff. The videos will be slightly shorter. We'll be targeting about 5 to 6 minutes, rather than 10 minutes. I mean, I know you like a meaty 10-minute video, but for a weapon guide, I don't think you need more than 5 minutes, really. I'm also going to limit the amount of gameplay I record. I'm going to, instead of recording like 7 or 8 hours like I have done with some of the Black Ops 2 stuff, I'm just going to record maybe 2 hours. Now, the clips might not be as good, but that's not really a huge factor. There might be a few extra comments, oh, you're bad at this game. I don't care. So yes, that's my strategy. And in case you didn't see, that strategy was surrounded with air quotes. That answers the question? That answers the question. Hot Stuff says, "Hey Stu, whatever happened to Retro Ahoy?" You do know that Retro Ahoy is... I'm sure... Yeah, alright, okay. No, Retro Ahoy is alive and well, and he's posting videos on Xbox Ahoy under the guise of them being Xbox Ahoy videos. Come on, a brief history of video games? That's straight out of Retro Ahoy. I know, it probably would have been a better fit on the channel, but there are more subscribers on my main channel, and I get paid better per view there as well. So, there's really no incentive for me to post them on the Retro Ahoy channel. Which is a shame, because it is a neat little channel, and the name is more suited, and, it kind of, it escapes the Xbox versus PlayStation fanboy war as well, which is nice. Not that it matters, it's just a channel name. So yeah, that's where Retro is, and he's stealthily posting videos on my main channel to see how they go down. Ultra Force asks, have you ever watched Extra Credits or Game Theory? If so, what do you think of that kind of video? These are 2 channels that kind of specialise in analysis of games, more serious content. One of my favourite guys in this area is a guy called Campstar. He runs this show called Errant Signal. It's a little bit sporadic, he's a bit like me in that respect, but he knows his stuff. He overuses the term ludonarrative dissonance a bit, but I think he realises that as well. But yeah, there's some good insight on games there, even if he is a little bit negative sometimes. You know me, I'm an optimist when it comes to games. I like Extra Credits as well, although I wish they'd lose their voice. I mean, if I was in charge of Extra Credits for a day, that's what I'd do. The voice. Change the voice.
Just speak normally, for goodness sake.
As for Game Theory, I don't know. I mean, their content's a little bit more puerile, and I don't think it's as insightful as some other stuff. But, hey, what do I know? They get the views. But But yeah, I like video content that's about video games, and if it's insightful and interesting and, you know, in a mildly serious tone and not too stupid, then I'll enjoy it. The only trouble is, I mean, the sort of the really deep analytical stuff, it isn't that interesting to a huge audience. It's more of a niche thing, so you maybe don't get the huge view counts, so you couldn't sustain a living on that sort of thing. But I suppose, you know, in my case, that's what the weapon guides are for. That's my living right there. Avi Naim says, do you watch Top Gear? If so, who's your favourite presenter? Mine's James May. I do watch Top Gear. In fact, I think it's safe to say I've watched every single episode of the new series at least, and probably a fair few of the old Top Gear. I think it's starting to run its course. I think, I mean, the episodes are still good, but I think, you know, it's coming up to the time where they need to wrap it up, which is a shame, and I don't know what will replace it, but that's the way things go, you know? Everything comes to an end eventually. As far as my favourite presenter is concerned, I like James May as well. He seems like an amicable type, you know, and I really like his educational content that he does for the Open University. He does the occasional video about toys as well. He's a big, I think he's a bit of a toy collector, so he likes model trains and Lego and stuff like that, and he does specials. I think they built a house out of Lego, and they did, I think it was a model railway that was a couple of miles long or something. Anyways, I probably enjoy his other content more than Top Gear, and I like Top Gear very much. Random Ore asks, Stu, I've been commenting questions since the MTAR bonus video, and you have never answered one of my questions. Q, has there ever been a beer that you thought was going to be good, but it disappointed you? Please answer. There have been some that have disappointed. Probably the most egregious example that I can think of is one of Brewdog's, actually. Brewdog are a Scottish brewer based here in the UK, and they're normally pretty good. And they had, they have these experimental beers. They call them abstract. They're normally very strong beers with unusual flavours, and they're very expensive as well. They run about £10 for a 375 millilitre bottle. That's about, 12, 13 fluid ounces for my American friends. Unfortunately, I find them to be a bit hit or miss. I've had, AB 11, AB 12, AB 13, and AB 14. They give them a number, you see. I've got to say, a couple of them pretty disappointing. They just taste of alcohol and not much else. They weigh in about 10 to 12% each, and you know they're pretty heavy. But having said that, they are designed to age, so maybe after a few months in the old cellar, the alcohol will mellow out a bit, and they'll actually be a bit more drinkable. So yeah, I'd probably say they were the most disappointing beers. Well, that's weighted in by the fact that they were quite expensive as well. MH327 asks, Stu, what did you think about The Last of Us ending? I loved the game, but when I got to the end, I was sorely disappointed, even though it was a good ending. Alright, first and foremost, no spoilers. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's not played it. Actually, I don't know, I kind of liked the ending. It wasn't a good ending, it did kind of leave you feeling a little bit disappointed, almost, or, you know, I guess wanting more closure. But in and of itself, the lack of closure kind of fits the storyline a little bit. I'm not going to go into too much more detail, but yeah, it was not the most satisfactory ending, you know, we're not talking about riding off to the sunset here. Bad guy firmly defeated and the girl in tow. No, it was more uneasy, but then, like I say, it fits. Come me bro one says, Stu, would you rather a Ferrari or a Bugatti? I was always a fan of the road less travelled. I like the unconventional, the quirky, the unusual, so I'd definitely go with the Bugatti on that front. Although, given the choice of anything, of that sort of car-like nature, I'd probably go with maybe a Spiker or a Caterham. Mr. Man 87100 says, do you have a dual monitor setup? Do you think having dual monitors is worth it? Oh my word, yes, it's brilliant. And finally, the Rage Fires asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Ghosts? Well, I don't know about you, but I am rocking a solid 6. I mean, I'll like it, and it'll be fine, and I'll have fun playing it, and I'll do the weapon guides, and everything will be fine. But you know what? It's a last-gen game, and I'm ready to move on to the next gen. Forza 5, Titanfall, Destiny, The Crew, The Division. These are the games I'm 10 out of 10 for. Anyway, I'm out of questions, and, that game just finished, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm currently working on the Gore video for Xbox Ahoy. I don't know precisely when it'll be finished, because it's it's a new concept. I don't really have a structure for it, and it's difficult to make an unstructured video because you've got to devise the structure and all the rest of it. I have recorded the games. I just need to do the graphics and piece the words together and, you know, make a decent video. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out anyway. I'd like to get it out this weekend, but I'm not going to rush it. I have the benefit of being able to be a bit more flexible with time. Obviously, once I'm doing the weapon guides, I'll be a bit more rigid. By my reckoning, there's one more Black Ops 2 bonus video left, the AN94. So, if you leave your questions below, I will pick them up and I will answer them probably in about a week's time. After that episode, there'll be a small break, and then I'll relaunch the bonus with the ghost stuff. And I will try and keep it regular for you. So, anyway, until then, farewell.